Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of For the Love of Drag Pod. My name is Astala Vista.
And I'm Jimmy Boone.
And we're going to be your hostesses with the most asses. Yes.
So if you watched our last week's episode, you know that we did For the Love of Cats, where we went through all of our different cats that we have both in our home as well as our office, including the brand new kittens that we welcomed in just 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yes, and let's talk about that. So since last week's episode, which has literally been a week, the kittens have doubled in size. It is actually insane. We brought them to the vet for the first time at the AWA the other day. They all got their shots, they got their vaccines, all that fun stuff, and they are all weighing in over a pound right now. Why don't you tell them what their names are, Jimmy?
So we have Snooky, we have DJ Pauly D, and we call him Skinny Vinny because he's the little runt of the litter there.
He was the only one that didn't quite make it to a pound. He was 0.94. He's getting there. He's getting there. But they are all doing incredible. Like I said, we all have homes for all of them already. So if you want to check on my Instagram at It's Astala Vista, ITSASTALA Vista, you can see some more kitten updates. But right now, we have something else that we want to talk about.
We are very, very excited for today because part of the reason that we wanted to do this podcast in the first place was to be able to welcome both in studio, virtually, maybe even remotely, where we go away and do something at a
yes, I mean, we perform at a lot of colleges. We get to travel a lot, so like performers out there.
So we are very excited to be able to interview different queens, get to know them a little bit better. Believe it or not, a lot of the people that we work with on a regular basis, we don't even know what their actual first name is. We know a lot of drag names, but we don't know what their actual first name is.
No, if you are not in the drag world, you may not know this, but like most of us refer to each other as our performer names, both in and out of drag. So like, I honestly don't even know most of my friends' real names.
Literally. And if you were to call them by their name, they would be like,
literally. Today's guest, I do know their name very, very well. So this is definitely an exception, but it does happen quite often.
As you mentioned, today's special guest, we are very, very excited, though, to bring in not only a Drag Queen Entertainment fan favorite, but also one of our close friends.
An actual friend.
Friend.
So excited.
Miss Vinchelle, a.k.a.
Shea Butter Work. Yes. So if you've been coming to DQE shows, you know Vinchelle very, very well. She has been in all of our shows for literally the last decade at this point.
Pretty much since we started.
We had a girl group together at one point. I'm sure that'll come up in a little bit. But there is definitely some history between me, Vinchelle, and Drag Queen Entertainment. So
100%.
I'm very excited to welcome our first special guest and dive very deep in today.
So I think we will go to a quick break right now, and when we get back, we will welcome Vinchelle to the DQE studio.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of For the Love of Drag. We are here with our very first special guest, Miss Vinchelle, a.k.a. Shea Butter Work.
Yes, Vinchelle!
Hello. That is right. No, it is not Shaka Khan. It is not Whitney Houston or Beyonce. It is me, Vinchelle.
Hi, girl. How are you doing?
I am so good. And can I just say that I am so honored to be the very, very first drag performer on your podcast. I have been listening to all of your episodes. I am 100% proud of you all, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this.
Nobody else we could have imagined to have for our very first special drag queen guest here. So thank you so much for coming out today to film some For the Love of Drag.
Thank you.
So obviously you've been listening. You get the feel for the pod, right? We're here to bullshit, talk shit, have some fun.
Talking shit, I've never done that before.
Never. You're a good Christian woman. We know.
Just a good sassy Christian woman.
So today we're definitely going to spill some tea, but before we even start spilling tea or any of that crazy stuff, I do want to let the audience get to know you for the people that may not know you. So let's talk first things first about how we met. I feel like that would be the best place to start. Obviously, that was through Drag Wars competition.
Yes, a fun competition that we all know. Now, do you remember when we first met?
I have the smallest inkling, but not too much. I'm going to be. I was at that point in drag where I was so worried about myself, what I was doing next, that I wasn't. Who I was meeting around me, I didn't know what was going on.
It also was a long time ago. So if those who don't know, Astala and we met in May of 2015.
Okay,
that's when we met.
Almost
it was
10 years ago.
Almost 10 years ago. And we met at the Drag Wars Cycle 6 opening night. That was so if y'all know, I did Drag Wars right after you.
Yep, so I did Cycle 5.
And I did Cycle 6. And I moved to Atlanta, so I was living there for a while, and I knew I was coming to Philadelphia, and I knew I wanted to do some type of drag. And so I was doing all this kind of research. And I will never forget, I went on YouTube, and I typed in Philadelphia Drag Wars, and the very first thing that came up was a YouTube series we're not gonna talk about. But then the second thing, the second thing that came up was a lip sync for your life. Well, I guess it was the lip sync for The Crown, and it was to Whitney Houston's "Joy to the World," and it was you and Chachi Devine.
Oh, Chachi Devine.
Chachi Devine. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, Chachi Devine. And I will never forget that. And Astala had on these long ass nails.
With
I was like,
Christmas trees on them.
Yeah.
That light that lit up. They were
Bitch.
dollhouse 6-inch Christmas trees on the ring finger with lights wrapped around them that literally lit up.
You were the
was
most.
like-
You were the most.
I remember I looked at that. I was like, this bitch has on all these nails. I was like, this is crazy. But I watched that and I just became a fan instantly, right? Instantly. So once I got accepted to do Cycle 6, I will never forget opening night. You were there and you were like this celebrity to me. Like I went up to you and I was like, oh my God, there she is. Like
The runner-up of Drag War Cycle 5.
Listen, I had my friend with me, and my friend was like, "There she is." I was like, "Oh my God, that's Astala." I remember. I think I called you. I don't know if you remember this, but when you would have me in the shows earlier, and you would have me on the mic, I called you something else. But we'll talk about that later. But I think I called you like. I called you something crazy on the mic. I was thinking about that the other day. I called you something else. But anyway, it was like Astala la Vista or something like that.
I think there was an extra law.
Remember?
Yeah,
It was
there
like,
was
I
an
called you
extra law.
something crazy.
God.
Something. But anyway, I just remember being like, that's her. Oh my God. So I remember I went up to you and you had like a crowd around you. And you had people being like asking you questions. And I remember I like kind of like cozy my way over there. And I was like, hey, like, you have any? I was so like, I'm still young, but very young. But I just remember being like, I wanted to know about the competition, and obviously I saw you did very, very well. So I was like, I wanted some advice. So I asked you, and I will never forget. You were like, "Girl, just do what you got to do," and you were like, "Just go for it." And I was like, "Okay."
Words of wisdom from Astala Vista.
But I also just remember when you were talking, it was like these claws, like it was these nails. Y'all think my nails are long? Mama had nails out to here.
I've been prepped for COVID since 2016. Okay, Stay
she was
6
talking
feet
to
away.
me. I just remember you were talking to me, and I just remember seeing these long nails, and I was like, "Oh my God!" and me with these stubby ass hands, I had not even the damn nail polish on. Okay.
I mean, I remember we did one show together where a girl was checking our fingers for nails.
Well,
That's another story. That's
No,
another
didn't
story.
didn't she buy you nails?
well,
She did. She bought Vinchelle nails and gave them to her at the beginning of the show. I was like, that is so nasty.
Meanwhile, the sound went out during the show three
because
times.
the DJ. But anyway, see, we are getting there. But no, I remember, and with my big hands, those nails she brought me from CVS were not going to fit me.
like little pinkies.
I was like, girl. But yeah, I will never forget that, and I just will never forget how, like, when I met you, how like just open and like how friendly you were. That was the one thing, because listen, back in the day, I guess still now, but queens were nice, but then again, like there wasn't a lot of drag queens back in the day, and I remember you said a while ago drag was more of like a just, it was very much so smaller.
It was hard to get into that door. Like they kept it locked, drag queens.
They did, and I remember not every drag queen was nice, right?
No,
but I remember you were so nice to me, and that was a big thing for me, y'all, because I was like this young black queen, and I did not look good. Like I did not look good at all. So everyone had every reason to be nasty to me. But I just remember you gave me that advice, and I will never forget that ever.
I remember you right off the bat that I loved your performance style. You were funny, you were campy, you were silly. Like you said, your look was still getting polished.
Crazy.
She was
Look at her. She's being nice. She's like, your look was TV and polished.
I mean,
AKA I look crazy.
I have a feeling Evan could do a little dirty digging and pop up an old school Vinchelle photo, right?
Y'all could probably put one up right now,
do
and
it.
you can see how crazy I look. One came up on my Facebook today, and I was like, "Wow, I looked insane."
That time hop gets us, doesn't it?
But you know what though? That's life. Like that's called a what? A journey.
Yes, honestly, if you're not looking back and saying like, "Oh my God, I was horrible back then," are you getting better?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I know, we look completely different now. Like so, and I love
We
seeing
polish it up. We polish it
and
up.
I love seeing my growth. I love seeing my growth, and that's what the beauty of drag is. So yeah.
1,000%. It is a journey. It's definitely not a. It's a something, not a marathon. A sprint, not a marathon. Is that what I'm? Or the marathon, not a sprint. Yeah, I tried it. I tried. Okay, but it's definitely one of those things where you start somewhere and then you can only really get better from there.
It's true.
Just got to spend a lot of money to do so.
Ooh, I just burped a little bit. Sorry. Because I was going to say something shady. I was going to say most get better, not all.
And that's on that. But I do think that right now would be a perfect time for us to dive into our very first little segment that I have planned. So for special guests, what I wanted to do, for our drag queen special guest, I wanted to do a little segment where we had each drag queen bring a little piece of drag that's very special to them. So we're going to call this show and tell right now. So, Vinchelle, I wanted you to, if you could, grab your piece of show and tell today and tell everybody a little bit about it. I know this hat. I believe I've seen this hat before, maybe at a Beyonce concert.
Maybe in a Beyonce movie.
Is that? Oh, okay. Tell us all about it.
So this is the same designer who actually made Beyonce's hat that you saw that she wore.
Wow.
She's Philly based.
You better
Philadelphia based.
work.
Yes.
For all of our audio listeners, so it is literally a perfect like cowboy hat, but fully like mirror crystallized. Like it's like a disco ball meets cowboy hat. It is fierce.
Yeah, I'm so happy I got this. I spent a lot of freaking money on it. I'm trying not to curse as much, but I spent a lot of goddamn money on this. And a lot of people know that I love Beyonce so much.
Yes.
And I mean just a little bit, right? But yeah, I got this made and I went to just a few of the concerts, and one of them I was in the Club Renaissance section, and the one at the MetLife, and I was wearing that. And then I guess you can't see it now because Mama hadn't put it on the streaming services.
No, she has not.
We're waiting. We're waiting.
I'm annoyed, but I'm a beehiver, so I can't say that publicly. But I, the first 10 minutes of the film, you can actually see me, and there's a great shot of me acting, because, we'll save that for later, but I can't get behind the scenes. I don't want to tell too much, but it was when she was giving her birthday speech. And if you want to put two and two together, you can. But she was in LA for the birthday speech, and I was wearing this at the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Okay.
So put all that together.
A little editing.
It's a little editing. I hate to say that because I lied and told everybody I was there. But oh well. But hey, sorry. Now the cat's out of the bag. But yeah. So I wore this to a few of the concerts that I went to, and I will never forget. I saw some of the cameras come around, and I just know that when you see a camera come around, what do we as performers do? We perform.
You perform.
We perform. So if you see me in the movie, you see I'm just like. There was nothing going on stage, by the way, y'all. At that moment,
that was like Beyonce's changing break right there, and you.
We were watching a visual, by the way. We were watching a visual. You think I would have noticed a camera if Beyonce was on stage?
But did it make the movie?
It made the movie.
And
I think Beyonce obviously saw me. I know she watched the movie.
1,000% she's seen you.
So this hat will always be special to me. That moment will always be special to me. That concert will always be special to me. The album will always be special to me. I have since taken my drag and utilized that. I will never forget when I first started drag. I told myself, as much as I love Beyonce, I said I'm never going to be. It's so funny I'm saying this out loud, but I said when I first started, I don't want to be known as a queen that just does Beyonce. I said that. So if y'all don't, I don't know if y'all might know this, but a lot of people that don't know, back in 2015, I did not do any Beyonce. I strictly did mixes. I did comedy.
It was all comedy mixes,
all spoken word. I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to be a strict Beyonce queen. I'm not. I just don't want to be put in that box. And I will never forget, it was week 2 of that competition, and it was. Everyone says it was set up for me to win, but I didn't even know Homegirl at the time. But the week was girl group week, and the artist was Destiny's Child. Oh. And if anyone really knows me, knows that I am probably the biggest Destiny's Child fan in the world. So, and then we had to, Team Bev and Team Brooklyn had to perform Destiny's Child songs, and we had Bugaboo. And I remember I was like, well, play the track. I know every word. I remember I was looking at my teammates like, if y'all fuck up these words, I'm fucking you up. boots. And they did mess up the words because we were in the bottom. And when you land in the bottom, all the people in the bottom had to perform solo Beyonce numbers. So I will never forget. I was like, oh my God, I was devastated. Shout out to my girl Ophelia, our girl Ophelia. She was on our team. She was trying to like calm me down. We first met. She probably thought I was crazy. I was throwing stuff backstage. Like I was devastated. I was like, how am I losing to Destiny's Child? This is insane. But I had to go out there and we had to do our solo Beyonce numbers as a losing team. I did End of Time, the Atlantic City live version, 2009, and
There were even live versions for the lip sync. They weren't playing games.
no, well, it was my I did it was like my own. Like, we had to do solo.
Got
sets.
you.
Yeah. So I did my own version of End of Time. It was live, and I will never forget. I did that. And I got a standing ovation.
Yes.
And right then and there, the minute I was done, I had my hands up. In my mind, I said, bitch, why would you ever think you are not going to do Beyonce? I had my hands up like this. I was like, if people only can mind read, I was like this when the number was done. People were standing up, and I was like, you dumb bitch. You
this
always.
Is what you were made
I said,
for.
you will all. I said in my mind, I said, you will always do Beyonce. So from then and there, I stuck to doing that, and that blossomed into me doing 2 years ago. I started to do full album Beyonce shows, and
people are loving that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about bringing it back maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now. Kind of giving myself a little Beyonce. I'm waiting to see what Act 3 gives before I give a little bit more.
We're all excited
because I'm trying. She's on ice, so I'm on ice. You know what I mean? So, but but I love this, and I love her, and I'm just so happy that out of all the hard work that I've done for Beyonce, and out of all the hard work that I have dedicated myself, the props that I've made, the outfits that I've gotten made, costumes and all that kind of stuff, I'm happy that I was able to be a part of the movie. Only thing I don't regret a lot, y'all. The only thing I do truly regret is that I was going to go and drag. But it was summertime and it was so hot. But it wasn't that hot that day, so I could have gone and drag. It was chilly actually.
But
that
maybe
day.
it wouldn't have made the cut. You know what I mean?
Maybe it wouldn't
just
have made
like
the cut.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. But in or out the drag, I'm confident. Okay, I'm just saying. They call me Young Denzel. Okay, but yeah. So I love that.
Oh, that is fierce. Jimmy actually has a crazy Beyonce story too. I guess you could tell real quickly.
Yeah, I think actually the anniversary of that is coming up in just a few days.
I think it is. Yeah. Let's talk Beyonce for a minute.
My first concert, I was a sheltered child, I guess you could say, but my first concert, I think I was 22, 23 years old.
Yeah, we were about that.
And you had surprised me with Beyonce tickets to the Mrs. Carter World Tour, if I remember
What
correctly.
an amazing partner, by the way. I'm sorry, like keeper. That's a keeper right there.
That's what I knew. No, but you surprised me with tickets, and they were, I think, kind of like nosebleed sections. I didn't really give a shit. It was my first concert,
expensive.
and
It
it
was
was
Beyonce.
Beyonce. You had to get them on like StubHub or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a couple months before the concert. You got me the tickets, and then the day of the concert actually came, and we were going to our seats and whatnot. And we walked up to our seats, which were literally like all the way up. And when we get there, there was this like whole like lighting rig section set up. And I just remember being like, oh my God, our chairs are taken up by this lighting rig. We're not even going to be able to see the concert. They screwed up the seating, yada, yada, yada. So I went to go and talk to a person that was like standing by one of the ushers or whatever. And they were like, oh, no, we have to relocate you. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's no problem. And they slowly just started walking us down the whole
Like
staircase.
one person would hand us to like the next level, like
Yep.
the first floor, and the first floor would hand us to like the actual floor, and then that person handed us to the Beehive.
Yep. So long story short, we ended up in the Beehive for the price of nosebleed section. I think it was like $200 or $300 per ticket.
It was crazy.
And there was like the main stage, and then there was like a time during the show where she like rappelled over to this like horseshoe kind of stage thing. Yeah, like a zip line or whatever. And I remember when she came over, we were behind the secondary stage, and she came over it was probably like a good like 15-20 minute set, and she came around and like did a couple laps, and we got to touch her hand, and it was this whole like dramatic moment. We have it on video.
Your first experience at a
like, I'm
concert
sure I'm going
ever.
to share it again because it's coming
You
up in a
got to
couple days. I remember. Yeah, that was great.
That is
and
amazing.
then
Sickening.
I think I've seen her twice since then. We saw the On the Run tour with Jay-Z, and then we saw the Renaissance Act one But obviously nothing compares to that first experience. That was
I mean, you were so close.
I'll never be
That's
able to,
amazing.
I'll never be able to recreate that
Seeing
again.
her that close is, I mean, I've seen her close a couple times, but seeing her that close is truly one of the best experiences of your life.
She's gorgeous, number one.
Tiny.
Like,
Tiny.
and so
tiny little thing. A tiny little thing.
I remember she had this like beautifully rhinestone purple like full cat suit on,
Yep.
and this like big blonde curly hair. It was beautiful, and the shoes matched perfectly. I remember purple rhinestones. It was amazing. But back to your like early drag days. We talked about drag wars a little bit. I know this story, but I don't know that everybody does. Do you want to tell the children how you got your drag name, Vinchelle?
Oh, the drag name. Okay, so I went to an establishment, a university called the University of the Arts. It is no longer with us. We're not going to dive into that. That's for another conversation. You can DM me about my real thoughts. But yeah, I went to the University of the Arts, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but I went a while ago, and there was only 2 black people in my whole department.
No way.
Wow, that's
Literally
crazy.
only, like, I graduated with
Philadelphia.
me. In Philadelphia, there was me and one other black person in the whole theater department.
Oh, wow.
That graduated. I almost said the year. I ain't doing that. Y'all ain't getting me. But there was only 2 people. So pretty much when I was a freshman, I was in the theater department office or something like that, and I was with my good best friend named Alan, who I'm still close with to this day. Shout out to you, Alan Weaver. I know you're probably going to watch this. He watches everything I do. So, hey, Alan.
Yes. We love an OG supporter.
OG supporter, okay? knows the real me, okay? But we were going through, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but in the theater world, you have to have something called headshots, right? And so we were looking through the headshots, and we were looking through the upcoming freshmen. Our goal was to look at all the cute boys that were coming in. We were like, what freshmen are we going to try to talk to? What? We were like, let's see the
This
cute
was
boys.
the Tinder before Tinder.
Boots.
Okay.
Boots. We were like, let's see the cute boys. Okay. I was like, who am I going to terrorize? Okay, let's see. And then we were just flipping through. And then you know how moments in life that you just will never, ever, ever in your life forget, no matter how long ago they were. This moment, I will never in my life forget. We were just flipping. And then we flipped. And we saw this one beautiful girl, and she had her hand up here like this, beautiful black African queen, right? Her name was Vinchelle, and we both sat there and we looked at each other and we were like, so those who don't know, my name is Vincent out of drag, right? So we were like, there is no way that this black girl is coming up to UArts as a theater major named Vinchelle, and here I am. So we were just gooped, gagged, and gathered, right? We were like, this is sickening. So literally, my friend Alan started calling me Vinchelle right then and there. Okay?
That is a gag.
Right then and there. Actually, he's still to this day. He actually calls me Chell to this day. Chell to this day. And then we got everybody at UArts, like all my good girlfriends started calling me Vinchelle, right? Now, fun fact, when Vinchelle did enter, we all didn't really get along with her.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, we didn't really curl for her too much. Sorry, girl. We didn't. Like, I mean, we weren't close. We weren't close. But everyone was calling me Vinchelle, right? And it was unclockable. There was one day where we were all in the show together. We were in this beautiful all black show at UArts. Very rare. But we were in this all black show at UArts, and we were rehearsing for like 12 hours. And we were sitting at the end of this table, and we were sitting there for like hours, and then this girl named Brittany kept calling Vinchelle's name, and Vinchelle was like kind of spaced out doing something, and I was sitting there, and she kept saying Vinchelle, and I looked over, I said, what? And everyone looked at me, and I'm quick on my feet, so I said, oh, I thought you said Vincent. I'm so sorry. Because even Vinchelle looked at me like, what the fuck you answering for? And I was like, I'm so sorry.
The name really sounds like the feminine version of Vincent.
It
Like
does.
it sounds like you created it yourself. Like
And
it just
you
sounds
know
like a
what's
drag
great?
name. Like you're
And
like,
you-
oh.
And you know what's really, really good is that everyone now calls me Vin, and that's perfect because it's short for Vincent or
It's
Vinchelle.
so true, though.
It's perfect. RuPaul Roof, same person, right? So it gives very that. But fun fact, I would say 2 years into me doing drag, she did. So we we didn't really talk during college, but after college, you know, we graduated and all that kind of stuff. And then I didn't do drag until like later on into life. So I started doing drag around like 26-ish. And, you know, I graduated college around like, what, 20, 21, 22. So I came out doing drag, and I came out swinging. Like, I came out and I started working. And I get a message from Vinchelle, and she says, quote unquote, "Hey, did you use my name?"
I didn't even like, oh shit, how do I answer?
And
Is she mad? Is she
I didn't
flattered?
know. When I tell you, I was shaking
Oh
boots.
dear. You're like, do I just block her?
I don't
like,
know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I was like, I don't know what to say. I was like, I got to be honest. So I was like, she ain't my friend. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, hey, Vinchelle, yes, I did take your name. You know, people call me that in UArts, and I don't think you knew, blah, blah, blah. I went in this whole thing. And she literally said to me, she said, I freaking love it.
yes!
And to this day, she likes and comments on like a lot of my stuff.
Vinchelle supporting Vinchelle.
Vinchelle supporting Vinchelle.
That's amazing.
That's the future.
Yeah,
Full
and,
circle moment.
and Vinchelle actually is one of the best vocalists I've ever heard in my life. Like, she's an amazing singer, and to this day, I believe she still does some amazing work. I know she's on Spotify. I know she's like an African punk like rock artist, which
that's
is
amazing.
yeah, it's very rare. But she does like rock music, and she does like indie music. But she has an amazing voice.
We have two Vinchelles on Spotify.
So I was going to say, if you want to look up Vinchelle on Spotify, you might see one or the other. So
we know you have your EP Madness out.
yes,
So,
yes.
obviously your single off that one was Wake It Up.
Hey,
I'll be singing that all the time.
Always.
In the morning, like when we're a little sleepy and we need to get a shit. I'm just
Wake
like,
it
wake it
up,
up,
wake
wake it up.
wake it up.
But you had quite a few tracks on there, didn't you? So you had
5 tracks on there.
Now, some of them were obviously new, but then I believe some of them were also old tracks that you had in the
Yeah.
past. There's a little bit of like Vinchelle history in there.
Yeah, so pretty much, I was getting knocked down, dragged online. A lot of people had a lot to say about me online at one point. I would say a couple years ago.
People don't like a successful drag
People
queen.
don't like a successful black drag queen at all. And, you know, especially one that has something to say. And, you know, especially one
These
during,
are all fellow performers, I'm assuming.
if you want to call it that, sure. Performers is a strong word, but they get on stage and move their mouths, or in stage I mean bar, but yeah, I was getting attacked left and right. I'm no innocent lady, right? So I'm not saying I was innocent, but I mean they were ganging up on me. I was getting attacked, and you know, a lot of them, it was a lot of racism, it was a lot of craziness, right? So I was feeding into it for a while. I was letting it get to me, y'all. It was like really tearing me to pieces, like shredding me. And what I decided to do was, instead of like keep going back and forth with a lot of like low lifes online, what I decided to do was I decided, hey, I'm gonna use my talent and go in the studio, right? So I used to be in a band called BGB, Big Gay Band in New York. And then I was in like a little mini R&B gay band in Atlanta. We all thought we were B2K, but we called each other B2 Gay. Let's not. We were gay, honey. Okay, gay R&B stars. We were crazy. We were crazy. Okay. And then I kind of thought I was Beyonce, so the group, but then we all thought we were Beyonce. So I remember, I'll never forget one time he was like, "Are you going to sing over me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so we didn't really last, but yeah. So I decided to go in the studio and shout out to Drew Tracks, okay? Huge shout out to Drew Tracks. So we decided to collaborate. I wrote Wake It Up. I'll never forget, I was smoking a little ganja and I was in my bed and I was like fed up with a lot. And I got in my bed and I said, you know what? I'm going to write the song. I mentioned some nicknames. I don't want to get sued. I'm a legal queen, so I don't want to get sued. So I did some nicknames.
Little rhymey rhymes.
And I called some people out because people need to be called out sometimes. And I called some people out and I did it via song. And I'm sorry, like Wake It Up is a bop, and if they had anybody mentioned could have did I was hoping that people would come back at me with another diss track, Nicki Megan style.
I was just gonna say,
but instead, Ice Spice, and they were quiet. So I don't know. No shade to Ice Spice. I was trying to come up with somebody. I don't know.
I like Ice Spice.
I do too.
I
I'm
did watch
too.
her Hot Ones interview, man. There is no spice there at all.
No?
It's
No.
like mayonnaise and salt. Like,
Ooh.
like girl, like I love her, but let me tell you, that interview was rough.
It was rough.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't keep it. I don't even know why I brought her up. I'm sorry, y'all.
But no. So I mean, obviously, people were talking shit,
Yeah,
and you said
people
you're not
were
going to
talking
get
about
hit.
me.
I'm just gonna write it
Yeah,
down.
so and that's why like Wake It Up came, and then there was another track. One person, they're a white queen. Well, they are physically a white queen in their mind. They're not, but they're they're a white queen. And they did, and we used to work with them. We used to be in a girl group with them, and they did How Many Licks Does It Take by Lil' Kim, the unedited version. And if we know Lil' Kim, she says the N word quite a bit.
Once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice. And this performer did that version proudly, having a good time with it, right? Wow. And somebody sent it to me, and I saw it. I made a post about it, and then she tried to make a post being like, I apologize. And then you know how people like to do. She was like, oh, I used the wrong version. I don't even know why the DJ.
Oh my God.
All N-words.
I don't even know. The DJ played the wrong version, and I didn't stop him. I kept doing it, and I just said the N-word. So they were like, I would never do that. That's crazy.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. So I made a post, and I kind of fed into it. I did make a post dragging them, being like, this is kind of unacceptable, and we need to kind of stop this. And they, as we know, would do white chocolate mixes a lot when we knew them and when we did work with them, and I often told them that that this is not acceptable.
I mean, I remember they were rocking like the character,
Braids.
Brenda from Scary Movie.
Yep.
Like,
and I remember I told them that it's not acceptable, and they told me, quote unquote, that I'm more hood than you. So I said, you know what? I don't think our conversation is going to go anywhere.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I made a post, and then one of their little girlfriends decided to make a comment under their apology. They made their apology about me, which thank you, because everything's about me, right? But thank you. So they made their apology about me. They were like, girl, Vinchelle just likes to play the race card, right? That's the first thing I saw. And then they called me a cyberbully, and they had like 22 likes. Shout out to the 22 of you. I'm still beautiful and fabulous and better than you. Thanks. Thank you, and probably richer than you. Let's check our bank accounts. Sorry. Sorry. Sometimes, listen, us black girls, we gotta boast ourselves sometimes.
know.
Okay, we gotta let them bitches know. But anyway, so I saw them say cyberbully, and I saw them say race card. Those two like things stood out to me. So I literally wrote a song called Race Card, and I wrote a song called Cyberbully. Hit up Drew Tracks, and shout out to Drew Tracks. Drew Tracks was completely down and was like, let's do it. And it's so funny. I actually wrote Cyberbully in the booth. I wrote it kind of while I was singing it there, but
I was just straight emotion.
Straight emotions. But Race Card, I wrote that down. I said, I'm writing it down. But yeah, and then the other two tracks, there's one track called Turn Up the Music that I recorded like 12 years ago when I lived in Atlanta. And if people who don't know, I did I actually did a mini like blog podcast called The Black Diaries during quarantine, and that was actually really, really big during quarantine. And the intro to that was Turn Up the Music. It was like a little snippet of that, and that's a full song that I put on the EP. And there's a little slow R&B like Keith Sweat type of ballad called Anything and these are all songs that I wrote 100% all myself. And you can check that out on Spotify.
I love that they get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A couple diss tracks, a little
You
R&B.
you get some hip hop, you get some dance tracks, you get some R&B.
live.
Yeah, and I even have like a Wake It Up like clean version for all my clean girls out there, because I curse a lot on that one, because I'm letting bitches know.
No, I will say that is very Beyonce of you to take that bullshit that you were going through and put it into a song. It's very the best revenge is your paper kind of a moment.
It really can break you. You know what I mean? Online hate, as we all know, we've gotten it a lot. Online hate can really, really
Sometimes
break
it's the
you.
first thing you wake up to in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up in the morning and the first thing you see is a negative comment.
I mean, I was getting broken a lot. Like, I was getting torn apart, right? And oop, I just burped. Sorry. Casamigos.
Let it out.
Casamigos. No, I mean, it was just a lot of hate towards me. And this is me, right? Somebody who has advocated for black performers, someone who hosted and put together a full town hall for the city, who's done so much good for the city, and then I'm just getting attacked by a lot of people, which I thought it was so weird, because I'm like, why am I getting so much hate from so many people? But I realized I know why. These are white folks that are mad that I called them out before.
You were waking it up.
And I was waking it up, and now they are ready to attack me. And one wrong move that I do, they'll be like, oh, look at her, she's terrible.
Yep.
So, and guess what, you can try all you want to, baby, but I ain't going nowhere.
And there is like a little mini cult online of people that like certain people will comment things and they get the 20 likes, like you're saying. They're just very, I don't know, it's culty. It's just like one girl you follow and suddenly anything she says, her opinion is God. And
it's really sad because with me, I guess I have a target on. I feel like I have a target on my back. I feel like in Philadelphia, I feel like there's a lot of people. As much as I have a lot of beautiful love in Philly, I will humbly say I have a lot of people who really love me in Philly. But I also have a lot of people who are waiting to see me fall. I have a lot of people that are waiting to see me fail. I have a lot of people that are waiting to see me die. I do. I'm being real with y'all. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but I feel like if I drop dead, there were people that would be very, very happy about that.
No, I mean, you're not lying about this industry. It's a nasty industry in that sense that people are looking for that next opportunity, and you being out of the way just means that they could be closer. And it's such a fucked mentality to have.
It's so sad. And like you would think, like I said, I've done so much good for this community. Yep. You would think that I would be getting praised more.
Yep.
But I mean, I get so much hate.
We've talked about that before, that there's definitely a sense of like entitlement with some people in the new generation of drag, where like it really, and I can't even imagine what it was like before we started, like 20 years before that. But like when we started, it was so much tougher to like get in here and get into the scene. And now I do feel like it's definitely a little bit easier now. Opportunities are more prevalent, but I also think people are very entitled to bookings, and they're like, why aren't you booking me? Why aren't you? Well, because there's 10 bookings and 800 performers. Like it's the numbers.
And you know what though, especially with the whole booking thing, like I'm so over that whole thing. I used to like care about all that. I book who I book because I don't give a crap. I don't care if I book the same 5 people. Guess what? I'm gonna keep booking this 5 same people. And if you're gonna be mad about it, be mad about it. Buy a ticket. It's on Eventbrite.
We've talked about that one too. I mean, the people
I don't care anymore.
It's hard to try to book new people when sometimes they call out, this happens, that. There's just so many examples where you're like, all right, well, like I just need to make my job a little bit easier because I'm already doing so much, making costumes, coming up with numbers, talking to venues. I mean, you produce events too, you get it. We do so much behind the scenes.
Backstage, you want to have a good time backstage. Like I know, I remember you said something like, you kind of, I think your main focus is like on stage, and that's my focus too. But I also want to make sure I'm having a good time backstage.
Yeah, 100%.
And if your backstage etiquette is shit, I'm not going to book you, and I'm not going to work with you. If you come late, if you come hour, 2 hours late to a gig, you can't send your music on time, you can't do all this kind of stuff, I don't know if I want to work with you like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And like I said, not everyone's perfect. I can excuse not sending your music in on time sometimes, like that. And I can excuse lateness sometimes, but calling out all kinds of stuff like that, it's not acceptable. And because people have to realize that, like, especially now, drag is a big, full-time, professional profession. Look at where we're at. Drag Queen Entertainment is a professional company. This is not.
You need to treat it professionally.
Right. It's not lollipops and daffodils.
No, it's not lollipops and daffodils.
It on the outside, it sure does look like it. We look sickening. But I'd say this all the time when I'm on stage too, when I'm hosting a show. Drag is fun, but it's our job. So when people in the audience too try to, like, while we're doing our numbers, when they try to get up and make it about them, sit your fucking ass down. We rehearse, especially during spoken words and stuff like that. Y'all need to sit down and watch the show because we got into, especially for brunches, we got up at like 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So you're gonna sit down and watch me. Right. You're gonna watch me. You're gonna watch me. But yeah, so I hope that one day we can all come together as a community. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but yeah.
For me, what's worked is kind of just focusing on what my mission was when I started. We're actually doing a season 10 RuPaul audition video reaction. And one of the things I said is, like, I didn't want to get famous. I was such a little brat. I was like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. I just want to take drag and bring it to places that it's never seen before. And that's just what I try to stick to. I'm like, I just want to bring drag to places that have never seen it before. Screw the drag scene. Screw the drama. Screw all of that. There's queer people in these tiny ass towns that want to have something gay around them. And want. I just want to be able to help provide it.
And those who don't know out there, we like Astala and I, our main goal was to be on Drag Race. Like, and I know you've talked about that in your podcast before, but like we literally was dying to be on the show. And like we would audition, we would hit each other up, we would call each other, how's your tape going? Blah blah blah. Yep. And I'll never forget, like one time, like I think we sat down and watched a couple of our tapes together before. Like we were obsessed with the show. We thought getting on Drag Race was going to be like the ticket and everything. And like look at us now, like we are.
And there was a time where it really could change your life. Like like season 6, 7, 8, 9. Like,
and I'm not saying Drag Race is a bad thing.
No.
But I'm just saying like it's probably not so much like our ending goals anymore.
100%.
You know, I think we started drag because we love doing it, and then also we did want to be on Drag Race.
Yeah.
But now I'm doing drag because I love doing drag, and I love the money I'm making doing drag, and I also love the fact that I'm changing lives doing drag.
1,000%.
And my life has changed.
1,000%.
And listen, I'm the kind of person, I know you don't want to do it, but I'm the kind of person that's like, I'll never say no to the show. I'm not actively trying to be on the show, but if it happens, it happens. You know, I saw my sister get on last season, Safira Cristal. Shout out to her. I will say, I after seeing that whole process, whew, that was kind of scary.
Ooh.
Okay, the money. It's the money for me, y'all. I'm not that rich, okay? I know I play it on TV, but I'm not that rich. So it's like, that's the one thing. But so it's like,
that's the one thing, and then in the end, they could just do whatever they want.
Yeah,
but you could be the clear winner, and they could switch that up.
Well, but I also see how my sister is working all across the world.
Yep. Yeah.
I see her traveling. I see her killing it with her one-woman show. So, like, things could be good.
Yeah. No, but that is also, too, a big part of that is because Safira Cristal is a hard-ass working entertainer.
And she's an amazing entertainer.
Do you know what I mean? If you put a 21-year-old that's new into that position versus Safira Cristal, who knows how to promote, how to do shows, it is going to be two different results.
And we've seen
Safira is going to be a successful drag entertainer for her life, regardless if she did the show
and we've
or not.
seen other people that we know get on the show, and they're working at, bars in North Jersey.
I would say that both of you have very successful drag careers and lasting drag careers. Vinchelle, what is one piece of advice you would give to like an up-and-coming performer for them to also have a lasting career in drag?
The best advice I've ever heard, oh my God, this is the best advice I've ever heard in my whole entire life, and it comes from Derek Barry, out of all people, from season 8 of Drag Race. I know, Brittany herself. Okay?
I love this one. This is my favorite too.
This is literally, I will never forget. It stuck to me, and this is when I was first starting drag. And she said the best advice I've ever heard was two words: show up. That's it. She said, show up and everything else will fall into place. There will be times, y'all, where I'm like, especially like 2015 and 2016, I was a mess. I didn't know what to do, but I showed up to the gig and I got it done. And people were always like, how do you work so much? I show up.
That is the best, most helpful, biggest piece of advice you could possibly say in drag. Just show up. We have a rule after 3 call-outs. That's when we start to get a little like,
we don't trust you.
We don't trust you anymore because
y'all do 3 call-outs.
We do 3. One time we tried 4. We booked on the 4th and they called at that time too, so we were done.
See, one and done. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
But like that's the tea. Showing up to the gig. I will say the only relationships I have burned in drag, I think there's like it's one bar and one bar only. And it's because I continuously called out. I called out 3 times. I will be honest, the pay wasn't the best there, so I was prioritizing sleep, life, or whatever. But like that is how you burn a bridge, by not showing up. And I did that once by not showing up. So like show the hell, even if your lace isn't freaking cleaned and
your makeup might not look the best,
you
or whatever.
You had to put that face on really quickly and it's not as good as you wanted it to be. Just show the hell up. You will make the rest work. You'll make it work. Just show up.
It's so true.
It's live entertainment. Something is always going to go wrong anyway.
Always.
So show up and figure it out.
Just
and
show
you'll get booked again.
up.
You will get booked again.
Yep.
And I think us as all producers, when we see something going wrong within a person's number and watching them like adapt to it or just making it work during the number and not like quitting mid thing, that's always a thing that like, oh, she's that girl or whatever.
Professionalism. You know what? I just had a brunch 2 days ago, or I can't even keep up. Well, on Sunday I had a brunch, and we all love her, Divinity Banks. That something happened with her music, and like it was like wrong, and like the wrong track played, and then the DJ played another track, and it was wrong, and she literally said, "It's okay, I'm just gonna go out there and do it." Just made it work.
Divinity,
and I literally went back.
She will make anything work. She's incredible.
Incredible. And I literally went back And I watched her and I was like, you know what? That's a fucking professional.
Yep.
Like, that's a professional. And that's why she's so well booked. And, like,
Yep.
that's why other people can be booked like that, because you just have to be professional.
Yep.
It's all about professionalism.
And
like-
she was one of those when we found her like a year or so ago. We were like, "How have we not worked with you forever? You're amazing."
Hmm. And I'm obsessed with her. And the fact that she loves Beyonce like me, we just have so much in common.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Speaking of things going wrong on stage,
Uh-oh.
so what is your not your first? What is your biggest on stage drag fail that you've ever experienced? I know I've had quite a few. I feel like it's one of those things during performances you have quite a few, but if there's anything that sticks out in particular that you're like,
well, I'm pretty perfect. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I mean, of course, you know, we've been doing drag for almost a decade now. So, yes, there's a lot of things happening. I will say that I will never forget that I was at a Bev's Bitch Fest. Shout out to It's Bev Bitch. And I, with some of Bev's audience members, you know, they can be a little, judgy. You know,
Yes.
no shade, but I don't really care who's watching. No shade.
she gets the Ozempic gaze.
I'm just being... I'm just being real. Okay, cut. No, I'm kidding. No, we they can be a little, they could just kind of, I don't know. I'm never getting booked there again, I guess. But so I will never forget. I was doing a number and I was something happened with, I almost said her name. I'm not gonna say her name, but something happened with another performer, and I was doing a show. That's what it was. I had the show before that show, and because that's back when we were like really really young. We were doing 4 or 5 shows a night, right? So I had another show before that, and a performer's wig came off, right? And then they were like crying backstage. God. And I remember I looked at them, I was like, how pathetic, right? I was like, this is pathetic. Like, put a bobby pin on that shit and calm down. I was like, y'all are pathetic. So I remember I was like, this is unprofessional. Like, come on now. Like, I think I was doing drag for like 3-4 years at that time. I was like, let's like hype it up, okay? Kick it up. So I got on stage for at Bev's Bitch Fest, and I did my number, baby wig. I went down, I went south, I went back up north, and my wig stayed south, right? Baby, when I tell you, I went up, I said, oh my God.
You were the girl crying backstage?
I was terrified. I also never got looked over. I saw Bev's face, and Bev was like, and I was just like, oh my God. So many other things have happened after that, but I just remember like scanning the room and seeing like all those white gays stared at me like, huh, we figured. And I was just like, oh my God. And that was kind of crazy.
LOL.
That was it was only very embarrassing because I was just clowning this bitch before me. Yeah. So I was so embarrassed by that, like terrified.
Oh, we love a good wig loss.
We love a good wig loss. I mean, I've had wigs come off before. Not as often. I would say I can count on my hand how many times my wigs come off.
I think I'm at a good like 4.
I might probably maybe 5. But
I think my worst wig off was when I was doing the girl from The Ring, and I came out with like my hair in front of my face. The first like flip back, and the song was I whip my hair back and forth. Willow Smith.
No.
I had no hair. So what I did, I just grabbed the wig off the ground and I just started and people thought it was part of the number. They were livid. They were screaming like, this is amazing.
Talk about professional. I'll never forget. I was at like this gay wedding once, and it was like all these people that I used to do theater with back in the day, and they were. It was like my first time them ever seeing me do drag, and I was doing a Beyonce number, and this is when I was like stacking my wigs. One of the top wigs came off.
I'm done. Ooh. Just one. Like, wait, how does that work? And one's off, one's still on the head.
They were looking at me like, this bitch wants to do drag. They were like, if you don't get yourself in a musical again, like they were like looking at me like, if you don't just do musical theater again, like yeah.
LOL.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what my most embarrassing was. It's not a wig, but I can't. I know I've definitely had some.
I mean, there has to be some. I mean, there's some times where I forgot my words. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't use a lot of props anymore. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the case. I can't. I'm sure there are
in
some.
drag, it's like that's what you think of when the experience going bad. It's when the wig comes off. That's
right.
when
I think that's the main thing. I mean, of course, like there are times where like my reveal didn't come off in time.
Yeah.
Or, there are those times. I don't consider those to be embarrassing. I consider them to be my dumbass fault. But other than that, like
I thought of one that was semi-recent. It was after I got my first breastplate and I was performing a number and it was probably like 5 times wearing the breastplate in. I was pretty new to it. And it literally unsnapped in the back. Titties came off on the ground. The final song on my mix was a 90s mix. Was Bye Bye Bye. So I like grabbed it again and threw it. I made a whole little moment of it. But the gagaroo was, after the whole entire show, the woman comes up. She's like, I just have to tell you, you are hilarious. Would you like to do a drag queen story time at my library? I'm like, my titties just fell off in the middle of this show.
You got a
I
drag
got a
queen
gig
story.
out of it.
You got a gig out of it. Crazy.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to wear a caftan for that, though, just so we're all aware.
So we've talked a lot about Vinchelle the drag queen, but what are some things that you like to do outside of drag?
Oh my gosh. Well, recently I have been doing this thing where I'm going to concerts. I love a good concert. I don't love a lot of people, but I do love to go to concerts. So I told myself this summer that I'm going to be going, or this year, I'm going to be going to more concerts. So I would say the beginning of this year, I went to go see Nicki Minaj. I saw Megan Thee Stallion.
Whose concert you like better? Let's do it right now.
I can't say that on live.
I tried.
I'm not saying that on live. I'll tell you, Patreon. I obviously saw Beyonce last year. We're talking about this year, though. I saw. I'm seeing the Queens of R&B this coming up Saturday. I'm seeing them, or this Saturday. I'm seeing the Queens of R&B, and then I'm gonna go to Vegas next week to see Miss Mariah Carey.
Ooh, I know you're
the
living.
celebration of Mimi.
This is a very happy lamb right here.
I'm a happy 4th row seats.
Oh God!
And then when I get back to Philly, I'm gonna be seeing Missy Elliott.
Oh, okay.
that's amazing.
Yes. And then
I imagine her concert's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Party.
So I like to go to concerts, but honestly, y'all, I'm a homebody. So I've not recently, this past year. So y'all know, but I used to and shout out to Nick, love you, Nick. But I used to have a roommate for about 6 years now, and for the 2021, I moved out to my own place, and I had an apartment for 2 years, and then just this past year, I'm renting, but I got myself a house. And so I live in my own house now, and I have kind of been like a homebody, but I'm trying to tell myself to go out more. So I definitely have friends over. I like to stay home. I like to drink a lot of wine and have fun doing that.
I get it. Like when you're paying to live somewhere, you want to spend the time.
You want to spend
there.
and I'm also I'm the kind of girl that there's a lot of queens and performers that like to be out and about all the time, but I feel like me being at almost at my age, the young age that I am, I've kind of grown out of that a little bit.
We're also out for our
We're
job.
out for our
we are lucky
jobs.
enough to be able to include socialization and going out in our job. So sometimes you drink a lot while you're working. I mean, we're not getting crazy wasted, but you don't want to go out the next day and then drink again. Right.
And it's I have all these shows, I would have my Beyonce shows at these bars, and then they would want me to go there out of drag and stuff like that, and I would love to support the bar and everything, but it's if you work at Walmart, do you want to go there when you're off work? It's
No.
so it's just I try to have a life and be social, but also I want to keep my sanity as well.
Fully.
So I don't nowadays. I don't really go out to the bars and clubs as much.
Do you want to go out to? I was just nailed it. You finished it with that word locally. I was like, do you really want to go out and see the people that you're constantly working with? Sometimes get a little too drunk. No, you don't want to do that with the people that you know all the time.
No, locally. Now, I remember that one time that we went out in Connecticut, we had a ball.
And that's what I was just going to. So, we have meatball days where, we do them in Philly sometimes, actually. Yeah. But, there's days where we just act a fool. And, when we went to Nashville,
that's where I'm from.
Girl, we had 34 drinks in 24 hours.
Crazy.
A mess. I don't know what I did that day, but I would never do that around here. You know what I mean? You can't see me like that.
We're also the kind of people that get on flights to go get $1,000 Bloody Marys and start South Carolina, wherever we were.
Best birthday experience ever. 10 drag queens on a flight to get $1,000 Bloody Mary. We each pitched in $100, and then we went to a tea place after. It was this tea and crimpets, Alice in Wonderland themed place.
And we had I remember fancy butters.
Fancy
Yes,
butters,
crepes and butters
with sprinkles
or
and
whatever.
shit. But when we went in there, we had to be the only gay people within a 20-mile radius.
For the server.
Except for the server.
He was on Grindr.
Yes. He was the
Who
Hills
was
Have
also a
Eyes
drag
gays,
queen.
though.
Yep.
He
Was also a drag queen.
Yeah, and he's oh, I've been to Philly before, showed us photos, and we're oh.
We know this queen. And we were
oh, they were very, very nice. So they were nice. But when we walked in there, the woman's oh, I know. Was I?
I think y'all are
No,
colorful.
she
bunch.
Oh,
said-
y'all are a colorful group.
No, she said, quote unquote. She said, "Hey, Dan, your people are here."
That's what. Yeah. Yeah. She said you're a colorful group, and then your people are here.
And I
Yep.
said, "Lord
And we
Jesus."
said, "Oh, my
I said,
goodness."
"I am in North Carolina."
We said, well, this is North Carolina for you, everybody.
That was too much.
Oh, I also remember that was the place too where everybody was on Grindr.
Yep.
All the girls were on Grindr, and there's the one guy they were talking to that would send that photo of his dick, and he had a piece of lint in his pubes.
Yep.
And then Onyx literally zoomed in on the pubes, screenshotted the lint, and asked him, "Why do you have the lint in there?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't notice," or whatever. Like that North Carolina Grindr, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a blast getting to know a little bit more about Vinchelle. I think we're going to take a quick little break if you don't mind, and when we come back, we have a fun little game we want to play with you. If you
Ooh, I love games, just not the ones that the boys play with me.
oh my god, I love it.
Let's do
All
it.
right, well, we will be right back with a fun little game.
Yes, oh my god. All right, everybody. So welcome back to For the Love of Drag Pod. We are here with our very first special drag queen guest, Miss Vinchelle, a.k.a. Shea Butterwork. And right before the break, we told you we were going to play a little game.
Ooh.
But before we said that, well, after I said that, you said you didn't like to play games with the boys. So I wanted to chat first because that is something that I don't have too much experience in. I have been in a relationship since I started drag. So what is it like dating in drag? What was it like 10 years ago versus now? Are people more okay with dating a drag queen now than they were then? What is the tea?
Oh my God.
I know I put you on the spot.
Goodness. You should have warned me about this one. So I don't. Okay. I don't date right now because I'm so focused on my career. I did date. I feel like boys are a distraction for me personally. Everybody's very different. I have gotten into a situation where when I first started doing drag, obviously drag was a little bit more, back in 2015, drag wasn't as popping. So a lot of the guys that I were talking to weren't as receptive of it. You know what I mean? I remember I was talking to this one guy who I was like in love with, and he was just like this, he was this mixed dude, and like he just wasn't, he was more like, I would say a lot of times in the black culture, they really just don't like femininity.
Okay.
And like as far as guys, not all, but I'm saying like as far as back then, what I experienced, especially like living in Atlanta, and dating a lot of black guys in Atlanta, I just know that they like a lot of like masculinity, right?
Okay.
It's changed now, but especially back then, it was very like you have to be mask for mask, right? So I was dating this like mixed dude, and he was very like more on the black side, and like he was like I was in love with him, and I don't think he really was very receptive of it, and that's when I was kind of like really thrown back. That kind of threw me off of it. And so I kind of like laid low, and then I started dating again back in like 2018, and what I would run into, or 2017, 2018, and what I would run into was, and what happens now is dating people.
Let me guess. Is it like you're like a celebrity and they want to be attached to you? Like, okay.
It's two things. They want the perks of being Vinchelle's man or Vinchelle's partner. Excuse me, because I'm gender fluid. So, if they want the perks to being Vinchelle's partner, you get to get in the clubs for free, free drinks. You get to go backstage and hang out with the other performers.
Be one of the cool kids.
It's went from like you're dating a drag queen to you're dating a drag queen.
Right. So it's two things. So it's either that or they want to be a drag queen. I have definitely been used before. I have been used. I've been used before where I was talking to somebody. I thought we were really hitting it off. And then all of a sudden I'm getting a text asking what size heel that he should get.
Oh my gosh.
And then they did Drag Wars. We're not going to say names. But like, so yeah, I am, so I have stories. I have dealt with so many different people out there that have used Vinchelle to get ahead, that have used me to get free drinks, that have used me to get a name for themselves, or I have dealt with people that don't want to deal with me because I am a drag queen. I've seen it all. It's very hard to see who's genuine or not. It's very, very difficult. And so that's why recently I've just been keeping to myself, because I've also kind of seen my friends kind of get used a little bit too. So I'm just just at the point now and at the place now where I'm just like, you know what? I'm very established with who I am as a person and who I am as a drag queen. Then I would say when I'm like, you know, deep in my 40s, that's when I kind of will get into it now. I'm having fun. I like to travel. I like to be single.
Go to your concerts.
I like to go to my Vegas concerts. And, you know, when I go to Vegas, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I might get married when boots.
You see me here.
Boots.
No, let her be.
We'll let her be?
She's been misbehaving.
I might get married when I'm in Vegas. You never know. I'm not. But, you know, you never know. You never know. I can meet another Mariah fan.
You're 100% right.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, to sum all that up, dating sucks. No, I'm kidding.
Would you ever be able to date another drag queen, or is that off the table? I mean, I could say that never. Like, that would just not even. There is too much that goes into this to have another two together.
Well,
any drag queens listening that are in a drag queen relationship and a safe, stable drag queen relationship, props to y'all. Okay,
emphasis on
safe
and stable. We've seen several drag queen relationships go awry. So yeah, I wouldn't say no, but no.
Okay, fair. Got
That's not what you're looking for necessarily.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Well, I guess no can actually hop into the game now that we just grilled you a little bit.
We just got grilled
y'all got me together
now
right
we'll
there.
lighten up with a fun little
But
game.
hey, anybody out there, if you're single, if you are over 6'2", okay, well, I am single, so 6 foot, and I mean whatever, but I prefer 6'2", and you have a good credit score, and you don't want to be a performer at all. We can talk. We can talk.
But I have a fun little game. We'll change the energy a little bit.
Okay, work.
I wanted to do like a rapid fire question game where I'm just going to ramble off a bunch of questions, and then you just give me the first answer or the quickest thing that comes to your mind.
Are they shady?
They may be a little pointed, one or two of them as we get in there.
Okay, here we go.
But they're going to start off nice.
You got 10, I got 10?
Yep. So we have 20 altogether. I'll do the first 10. Astala can do the second 10.
I'm scared, but
so
I'm
we
excited.
all feel included
I'm
here.
excited.
Are you ready for it? All right. First one. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite city in the U.S.?
Atlanta.
What was the last song that you downloaded?
The last song that I downloaded?
Or listened to. It's probably a dated question at this point. Streamed.
The last song that I streamed, I guess, was when I was getting ready for the Barbie show. So, I mean, the Nicki Minaj Pink Friday 2 album. Yeah.
Okay.
Great album.
Yee.
What is your first celebrity crush?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I have two. I have two. I was obsessed with Punk'd growing up. And Ashton and that,
in his little trucker hat
and that little butt chin. Oh my God, honey! I could no, sorry, we're online. And then so it was Ashton, but then it was also this another actor called Shamar Moore. I was obsessed with him.
Okay,
I could lick him
Criminal
up.
Minds, right?
Whatever he was on. I remember him from Soul Food. That's what I remember him from. But yeah, Shamar Moore, I could just lick him all over. There are more, but yeah, though.
What is your favorite junk food?
Any type of candy. I love candy specifically. Oh my God! Now I'm really gonna show my age, but I'm obsessed with lemon heads.
LOL.
I
didn't know people actually like them.
I do prefer more of like a sour. I'm more of I'm a sour bitch.
Okay.
But not too sour. I'm a sour, but like sweet. So yeah, like meat.
Sour Patch Kids.
I do like Sour Patch Kids, but I don't like gummies like that. I like hard candy.
Okay.
I like hard, sweet, sour candy. I'm very specific.
Very specific.
I'm very specific with what I put in my mouth.
Take that.
Anywhere in the world, what is the place you want to travel most?
Oh my God, I was just talking about this. I think I was talking to you about this. I want to go to Italy. I really want to go to Italy.
There you
I've
go.
never been there, and I love wine. As y'all know, I love me a glass of wine, and I also love pasta.
She buys a case every time.
I
we
do.
wine
Yeah,
date
shout out to
together.
Bellevue Winery. I'm going through. I think I only have 3 bottles left. So.
What was your favorite childhood TV show?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm trying to think of the first thing that pops up. The first thing that's popping up to my head is like Sister.
There you go.
Tia Tamera Mari. I'm
Sister.
obsessed with those two.
Superpowers. What would you rather have? Invisibility or super strength?
Oh, I thought you were going to say flying. I want to fly, bitch. Invisibility or super strength. I'm going to be invisible.
There we go.
And I'm strong already.
Do you have a favorite day of the week?
Oh gosh. gosh, well, that changes because now that I'm a drag queen, that completely changes. When I was not a drag queen, it was the weekend. It was like Friday and Saturday. Now you give me a cunty Monday, I will love you.
And here we go. Who do you prefer, Ariel or Jasmine?
I thought we were going somewhere else. I got scared there. We're going to go. Are we talking like? See, here's the thing. Okay, see, I can't just answer this question because I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Ariel because of the recent live action movie and hashtag my Ariel is black. And if you don't like that, then you're racist.
Well, think about all the people that were born with natural red hair, how they would feel.
Let's keep going.
I think they also have a cartoon now where Ariel is black as well.
And I know
Disney Plus
people are going to be mad about that.
So they're keeping it going. I'm happy.
Yeah,
for that.
hashtag not my Ariel.
Stella?
All right,
You're gonna
so-
take the reins?
And that's the last time we're saying that name on this podcast.
So, actually, I have another name that I'm very excited to see what you say about. So,
Oh, I'm
my
scared.
first question is fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is.
Oh, I can't be shady. Okay, Taylor Swift is Astala Vista.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer,
Family
good answer.
Feud style
I'm
right
trying to
there.
stay
Yeah.
booked.
You know all about Family Feud.
I do. I was on Family Feud 10 years ago, baby.
All right, this one I have a feeling I know the answer to, but favorite holiday?
Oh my God, it's actually Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Christmas.
It
You got me
is
beat there.
Christmas, but I love to eat, so I love
I know,
Thanksgiving.
same though, same. It's nice too because like you don't have too many obligations. Just got to see the
No.
family, food. You don't have to
No.
buy presents for
And
everybody.
and last year I actually went to 3 different houses.
you
so.
better
There you go.
actually
And
work.
baby, my to-go bags were sickening.
It was Thanksgiving week.
Okay, I went home, I smoked, I had a fabulous time.
Yes. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, okay, I'm going to sound really, everyone always makes fun of me when I say this, but I love peppermint ice cream with like actual candy cane peppermints in there. Like
that's great.
you can only get
Okay.
it around Christmas time, so I only eat ice cream around in
You
the
like
winter.
a little crunch in
It's weird.
there?
I like that. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
favorite kind. If not vanilla,
I'm
but
right
yeah.
behind you. I like mint chocolate chip.
See, I don't like mint chocolate chip. I
Okay.
just like actual peppermints.
I
in
know which
there.
ones you're talking about. Though.
You know
I've
what I
seen
mean?
That literally only around the holidays.
Yes,
I've
it's
seen
only
that
around the
before.
holidays.
Do you snore?
So I don't know. I don't have a partner to tell me if I do or not. But from what I've been told, I've been told yes, I do snore, and then I've been told no, I don't snore.
Depends on the night.
It just depends on who I'm with.
Scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at football?
I would say watching the men play football, I'm a 10. I'm a 10 at tackling too.
bedroom
Playing
football?
actual football, girl too.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I played flag football back in the day, and I remember I screamed, crying, and quit on the field one day.
Oh my God, we are the same person. So my dad always tells me this story. When I was 3, my dad tried to have me play football, and I would grab the ball and run off the field crying.
I'm done.
And he would be like, "Why are you running off the field?" And I would be like, "Because I don't want to do this.
I'm done. You forced me here.
want to do gymnastics. I want to tap dance, and I want to bop ma at the damn ballet bar. You have my fucking gay ass up here running a damn football." I'm still bitter about that. Eventually, they got me in the dance school, but
Took a little time, but they got you there.
I was so mad. I was like, "What is my gay ass doing out here?" I ran off, and to this day, he brings that up.
You're like, I thought it was fag football. What is this?
No, boots.
I think I know the answer to this one, but ask for permission or beg for forgiveness.
Ooh, that's a good question. Say that one more time. Ask for forgiveness.
Ask for permission
Ask
or
for
beg for
permission.
forgiveness.
Oh gosh, I guess ask for permission.
Oh, okay, you got me beat there then.
Why-
I beg for forgiveness. I do. I tend to like do the thing that I think is going to be right, and then if for some reason it goes wrong, I'll beg for my forgiveness then.
I think I think it's in my house. I've always just had to. I think I was just always raised to like be like you have to ask before you do.
Okay.
So I think that's probably
Okay.
why.
I think for me, it's dealing with all these venues, like street venues, that don't know anything about drag shows, and they've like told us
true.
certain. And I'm
That's
like,
true.
you don't know what you're talking about. We're just gonna
That's
do
true.
this.
No,
It's
that's
gonna work
true.
out great, and it's gonna be fine. They're like, oh wow, you were right. And I'm like, yep, that's why we ask for or beg for forgiveness, even though we don't usually beg for forgiveness because we
Well-
tend to be right in those
well,
situations.
y'all know what y'all are doing. So I mean,
Some of the straight venues, though, girl. I mean, you work at some too. I'm like, like, we need a dressing room, not a public bathroom.
Well, and I've
Like-
been there with y'all for a long time, and we've seen some. We've been in some situations. Y'all, if y'all don't know out there, if y'all don't realize, we have, if any type of like drag dressing room situation, we have been in it. As far as like
JFK Public Airport. Hi, everybody.
Yes. No,
in the airport bathroom.
If you don't like, I swear to God, we have been in any situation, from being outside to being in airport bathrooms to being in barns. We have been everywhere.
Yep. Taking
Everywhere.
elevators to get to our
Yes,
dressing room.
yes,
So you're
yes.
doing a quick change, but it takes 9 minutes to get to your room.
to being in winter storms, going to colleges to do. We've done it all. All okay, mama.
Because you what? Show up.
Boop, boop, boop.
Callback right there.
That's a callback.
So you obviously, I don't know if you still are a vegan or vegetarian, but I know at one point you were.
I was for 2 years. I was vegan for 2 years.
So as an ex-vegan, is it wrong for vegetarians or vegans to eat animal crackers? This is some hard pressing issues.
No.
No, okay, fair. Name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Quiet.
Quiet, yes.
Peace and quiet is what I love in my house.
What type of milk do you put in your cereal?
I don't eat cereal.
Okay.
I don't eat.
What type of milk do you use?
I don't. For my coffee, I only use oat milk.
Okay.
But I'm a weirdo, y'all. Growing up, I never ate cereal.
Really?
Ever. Maybe when I was like a child, I vaguely remember Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I'm telling y'all right now, I was never a cereal eater. I was never a grits eater. I was never an oatmeal eater.
Do you drink milk by itself, or do you add it like
never?
No, same.
Never, ever.
Like coffee or something like that?
It would only be oat milk and coffee. Regular milk,
Regular milk skeeves me out more than anything.
I
in
can
the
never
world.
do it. And that's
People that drink full whole milk are monsters.
Oh my God. And like, I'm obsessed with this is not an ad, but I've been obsessed with Crumble. And so I'll go to Crumble.
the cookie place?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Crumble. And I'll like look at like TikTok like reviews, and I'll see them like dip this like this ginormous cookie in this milk. And I'm like, this is disgusting. And like, I know it's supposed to go together, but I'm skeeved out.
I agree.
by
I'm
it.
like, I'll do soy, almond, coconut, anything else.
The only
Is that
milk I
regular?
will do is oat milk. I think oat milk. I was an almond milk girly for a while, but I love oat milk.
You made the switch.
I made the switch.
All right, then the last question we have is, what sound does a seal make?
What sound does a seal make?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. I know that. What is it? Tears of a rose. Kiss of a rose. Ooh, and and ooh, I don't wanna feel it, that's all I know.
Oh, my
That's
God.
a sound that seal
Anybody
makes.
born before 1995 is gonna die. Anybody listening after is like, what just happened? That was iconic.
I don't know the
That
word.
was
Kiss of a rose.
like-
Kiss from a rose. Kiss of a rose.
That was amazing.
That is-
I was trying to set you up to do animal noises, and you took it one
Yeah,
better.
you ain't getting me, baby. I might be
Great.
wearing animal print.
That was great.
Oh, that was so good. Well, Vinchelle, we want to thank you literally from the bottom of our hearts for being our first special guest here at For the Love of Drag
Yes,
Pod.
thank you so much for traveling over the bridge.
Y'all live like 10 minutes from
I know
me,
we
so
are
this
so
is
lucky we get
great.
to live very close to each
No,
other.
they're old office, y'all, and I know y'all talked about that too
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the people that were
Yep,
killing each
yep.
other upstairs. Which is scary. I remember one time I was doing the bingo and I thought I had to call the
Yep,
police.
yep.
But that was like 45 minutes away. So being 10 minutes away from y'all,
Heaven.
I love it. And I will humbly say thank you all so much for having me on. Listen, y'all, we have been through so much together as friends,
We could do,
as
like, 10
co-workers.
podcasts
We
together.
really have there's so much more we can talk about, and there's so much more that we can like divulge into. But just truly, like, from the bottom of my heart, I'm just so happy that throughout all the nonsense that we've been through, and throughout all the people that have tried to tear us down, that the people that are continuing to try to put us down and to tear us apart, and websites and all that kind of stuff. I just want to say that I'm so humbly blessed that we are able to still be cool, still be friends, and still work together, because y'all are great people.
Right back at you,
And
girl.
and I'm just so blessed and honored to be friends with you all, and to be the first queen on the For the Love of Drag podcast.
Yes. From literally the girl group we had together, Success.
Ooh, I'm
us-
surprised you said that.
So successful
To
it
us
was.
being, though, actual successful drag queens doing the damn thing
Yes,
out
three
there.
of us
I mean,
are successful. Yes.
Our journey, though, it really has been. It's been crazy. I mean, I remember the one time we did a freaking celebration of life party together in Ohio and went on after the Christian rapper and the whole entire audience left. Like, we have stories that just...
We
with
were
memories,
in
like-
Salisbury. We did so. We have y'all. We have
The scooters in drag.
The scooters in drag, y'all. That was like we have so many.
I feel
stories.
like we've scratched the surface.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Vinchelle 2
There'll
episode.
definitely be a
There has to be
Vinchelle
another one, y'all,
too.
because I really want to get into some stuff.
I agree.
But because this was very
This is Vinchelle
surface.
light.
Yeah, this is like diet Vinchelle.
But why don't you tell the children where they can follow you? Anything fun or exciting that you have coming up that you'd like to shamelessly plug?
Yes. So the only thing that I like to plug it. Yes. No. You can follow me on Instagram at _Vinchelle_. That is this camera _Vinchelle_. That is _VINCHELLE_. And I have my own domain. You can follow me. You can look me up at www.vinchelle.com. I list all of my events there. I have all of my fun stuff there. And yeah, I can't really necessarily think of something I have coming up because, as you know, we work so much. So
And
I don't.
somebody might listen to this in 6 months from now. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So-
Correct.
So check the website
So
for
check the
events.
website, Vinchelle.com.
And then I guess same goes here. If anybody wants to check out some more Drag Queen Entertainment, give us a follow at Drag Queen Entertainment on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Then you can also give the pod a follow at fortheloveofdrag.pod. That's pretty much on everywhere as well. Or on fortheloveofdrag.com.
Yep, there we
You
go.
got it all.
You can get all of the Spotify links, the Apple Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, all that fun stuff, so you can listen to it wherever you prefer to listen to it. But next week we are kind of excited to also kind of go back in time a little bit ourselves.
Yes.
And discuss what it was like for us growing up gay in New Jersey. It's a little more southern for me, a little more northern for you for most
I
of
want to
it.
share stories.
Yeah,
I want to
it-
tell people about
it's-
the queer experience for maybe our straight listeners that are viewing that maybe don't know what it's like growing up gay.
Wait, there are straight people. I got to get out of here.
No, but people I don't think realize the full story behind things, and our experience growing up is a lot of the reason why we started Drag Queen Entertainment in the first place, to spread drag to areas
Yep.
that didn't have it in the first place. So I'm very excited to dive into that a lot more. But that is for next week, guys. So until next time, we are very grateful to once again to welcome Vinchelle to our For the Love of Drag podcast.
Thank you, girl.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. We will see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Hasta la vista. Well, thank you all again so much for tuning into episode 5 of For the Love of Drag Pod. I do want to give a very special shout out before you go to all of our close fan Patreon members. And then a very, very, very big thank you to our Call Me Mother sponsors. I need to give it up right now for the DragFam 27, Kathy P., and Barbara Rambo, who I know very well from Brunch. Hey, Barbara. Thank you guys so much for supporting us at the highest tier. Hopefully you guys will be tuning in next week for our For the Love of Growing Up Gay episode, and we'll see you guys then. Hasta la
See you
vista.
then. Bye-bye.